What's up, everybody? Weston here, back with the Hidden Gibbon, back with another daily deck tech video, and today I've got one that's a little bit higher budget, coming in at $509.94 when using cheapest, but hear me out here. It is going to be a bracket 3 deck with 3 game changers in it: Smothering Tithe, Rhystic Study, and Teferi's Protection, all of which are pretty expensive. So without these 3, the deck probably comes in at about $350, so you can always drop this down to bracket 2 by removing these cards. But without further ado, let's get straight into it. We have ourselves Miss Bumbleflower. And who is Miss Bumbleflower? Well, Miss Bumbleflower is this happy little rabbit. Look at the little biscuit she has. This card is right up my alley, and I am surprised I have not built her in paper yet because, man, I love the things that this card does. She's a 1/5 for 1 generic and Bant, and she has Vigilance, and whenever you cast a spell, target opponent draws a card. Then, put a 1/1 counter on target creature. It gains flying until end of turn. If this is the second time this ability has resolved this turn, draw 2 cards. Now, there's multiple ways we can go with this deck. I do have a little bit of counter synergy, a tiny bit, but I went Pillow Fort because that's what kind of player I am. I'm a big old Pillow Fort person. I have a Quain deck that is a massive Pillow Fort as well. So without further ado, let's see how we make a Pillow Fort. We have 22 creatures today, all of whom are going to revolve around either drawing us cards, protecting us, doing something that benefits us by also giving our opponents that benefit of them drawing a card. We have Archon of Absolution. I love this card. It has protection from white, so Swords and Path won't hit it. And it has kind of like a Ghostly Prison effect. It flies, and creatures can't attack you or a planeswalker you control until unless their controller pays 1 for each of those creatures. Same with good old Baird, Steward of Argive here. He's Vigilance and also has creatures can't attack you or planeswalkers you control unless their controller pays 1 for each of those creatures. So a little bit of taxing. We have ourselves a Fathom Mage, which has Evolve. Whenever a creature you control enters and has a greater power or toughness than this creature, put a 1/1 counter on. And it's whenever you put a 1/1 counter is put on this creature, you get to draw a card. So we can use it with our Miss Bumbleflower to generate a draw engine. We have Glunch, the Bestower. He's a jellyfish from the Baldur's Gate. And he's a 0/5 with flying, and at the beginning of your end step, choose a player. They put 2 1/1 counters on a creature they control. Choose a second player to draw a card, then choose a third player to create 2 treasures. Pretty fun right there. We have Incubation Druid, which is at the beginning of, add 1 mana of any type that a land you control could produce. If this creature has a 1/1 counter on it, instead adds 3 mana of that type instead. It's pretty easy to put a counter on it. We have Quain. I have a Quain deck myself. Mine is a Pillow Fort. And Quain is very simple. Each player may draw a card, then each player who drew a card gains 1 life. Everybody wins, right? We have Lauren of the Third Path, which is Vigilance, and when Lauren of the Third Path enters, destroy up to 1 target artifact or enchantment, and you can tap her to have target opponent each draw a card. We have Mengara the Diplomat, which is whenever an opponent attacks with creatures, if 2 or more of those creatures are attacking you and or planeswalkers you control, draw a card, and whenever an opponent casts their second spell each turn, draw a card. Master of Ceremonies. Everybody picks... I gotta find my Master of Ceremonies, by the way. At the beginning of your upkeep, each opponent chooses money, friends, or secrets. The ones that chose money each create a treasure token. For each player who chose friends, you and that player each create a 1/1 white-green citizen. And for each player who chose secrets, you and them get to draw a card. Then we have Nils, Discipline Enforcer, which is at the beginning of your end step. For each player, put a 1/1 counter on up to 1 target creature that player controls. Each creature with 1 or more counters on it can't attack you or planeswalkers you control unless its controller pays X, where X is the number of counters on that creature. This actually would be pretty strong against Mitch and his Crush because he piles up a lot of counters on it. Although he could still kill me with the Fling. We have Psychosis Crawler, which is his power and toughness are each equal to the number of cards in your hand, and whenever you draw a card, each opponent loses 1 life. Scrawling Crawler, at the beginning of your upkeep, each player draws a card, and whenever an opponent draws a card, that player loses 1 life. We have Socrates in here, Defender, and he has hexproof as long as he's untapped, and until end of turn, target creature gains. This creature, if this creature would deal combat damage to a player, prevent that damage, this creature's controller and that player each draw half that many cards, rounded down. Got ourselves a fog frog in here. It's a good old spore frog. We have Tem, Mindful First Year, which is a 2/2 for 2. With each other creature you control has hexproof from each of its colors, and target creature you control becomes all colors until end of turn. We have Tataru Taru with her little present, which is whenever Tataru Taru enters, you draw a card and target opponent may draw a card. And then whenever an opponent draws a card, if it isn't that player's turn, create a tap treasure token. This ability triggers only once each turn. We have the Council of 4, which I love this card, but the etched foil of it makes it look awful. Whenever a player draws their second card on their turn, you draw a card. And whenever a player casts their second spell, you create a 2/2 knight. We have the Second Doctor, which means you have no maximum hand size, and at the beginning of your end step, each player may draw a card. Each opponent who does can't attack you or permanents you control until their next turn. Then we have the Unagi of Kyoshi Island, which has Ward Waterbend 4, Flash, and whenever an opponent draws their second card each turn, you draw 2 cards. Tidal Barracuda, any player may cast spells as though they had Flash, and your opponents can't cast spells during your turn. We have Triskaidekaphile, so at the beginning of your upkeep, if you have exactly 13 cards in your hand, you win the game. And we have Windborn Muse, which is flying, and creatures can't attack you unless their controller pays 2 for each creature they control that's attacking you. A ghostly prison effect. I would highly recommend not just leading out a Triskaidekaphile while having a full turn cycle to go. Have your Tidal Barracuda out, and then do your Triskaidekaphile. We have ourselves Approach of the Second Sun, another win condition, one of my favorite Pillow Fort win conditions. We have Council's Judgment. Starting with you, each player votes for a non-land permanent you don't control. Exile each permanent with the most votes or tied for the most votes. We have Cut a Deal. Each opponent draws a card, then you draw a card for each opponent who drew a card this way. Good old Farewell, one of the strongest removal spells in all of Commander. We have ourselves a Farseek, an Attempt with Discovery for just a little bit of ramp. The Attempt with Discovery is on brand since we're allowing other people to do it as well. We have Promise of Loyalty. Each player puts a vow counter on a creature that they control and sacrifices the rest. Each of those creatures can't attack you or planeswalkers you control for as long as they have a vow counter. We have Secret Rendezvous. You and target opponent each draw 3 cards. We have Starfall Invocation. And then we have Wear Down, which is destroy target artifact or enchantment. If the gift was promised, instead destroy 2 target artifact or enchantments. For our instance, we have ourselves a Spider Fog. We have Beast Within. We'll go over removal first. We have Beast Within, Generous Gift, Stroke of Midnight, Swords to Plowshares, Path to Exile, and Pongify. We have Everybody Lives, so all creatures gain hexproof and indestructible until end of turn. Players gain hexproof until end of turn. Players can't lose life this turn, and players can't lose the game or win the game this turn. This is actually pretty funny if somebody tries like a combo that would win on the spot, and then you fizzle it. It's just pretty good. Let's see here. We have Fog. And then we have Jahir's Respite, which is one of my favorite fogs. For 5, and it lets you search for X basic land cards, where X is the number of creature cards attacking you, and put those cards on the battlefield tapped, and then you prevent all combat damage. Riot Control, you gain 1 life for each creature your opponents control, and then you prevent damage that would be dealt to you this turn. I really like this card. And then Teferi's Teferi's Protection, which is all you and all of your stuff phase out. We have Crawl Space for artifacts. No more 2 creatures can attack you each combat. Norn's Annex, so they have to pay a Phyrexian white to be able to attack you. Swiftfoot Boots to protect our Bumbleflower. And Wedding Ring. Oh god, this is so hard to read with this art. Sorry, friends. When this artifact enters, if it was cast, target opponent creates a token that's a copy of it. Whenever an opponent who controls an artifact named Wedding Ring draws a card, during their turn you draw a card. And whenever an opponent who controls an artifact named Wedding Ring gains life, during their turn you gain that much life. For enchantments, we have Authority of the Consuls. Makes people's stuff enter tapped, you gain a life. We have Collective Restraint, which creatures can't attack you unless they pay X, where X is the number of basic land types amongst the lands you control. Ghostly Prison's in here. Propaganda's in here as well. We have Noble Heritage, which is commander creatures you own have. When this creature enters the battlefield and at the beginning of your upkeep, each player may put 2/1/1 counters on a creature they control. For each opponent who does, you gain protection from that player until end of turn. Or until your next turn, sorry. Our other 2 game changers, Rhystic Study and Smothering Tithe. We also have Smuggler's Share, which is at the beginning of each end step, draw a card for each opponent who drew 2 or more cards this turn, then create a treasure token for each opponent who had 2 or more lands enter the battlefield under their control this turn. We have ourselves Sphere of Safety, so they have to pay 1 for each enchantment to be able to attack. Fairy's Ageless Insight, so if you draw a card, except for the first one you drew on your draw step, you draw 2 instead. Terra Symbiosis, so whenever you put 1 or more 1/1 counters on a creature you control, you draw that many cards. Do this only once each turn. We got Trouble in Pairs, which is if an opponent would begin an extra turn, they skip it, and if an opponent would attack you with 1 or more creatures, draws their second card each turn, or casts their second spell, you draw a card. And then we have Wizard class in here. Lands. I actually did not put in a card that I normally do. I would highly recommend Adagia if you want to go the copy your artifacts and enchantments route. But we do have Alchemist Refuge, so you can play something as though it had flash. Use this with your Triskaideka file or your Approach the Second Sun. I did run the Shocklands in here since we are going a little bit higher budget, right? Command Tower. We have the checklands like Glacial Fortress and Dreamwreck Cascade, and then we have Dreamwreck Cascade. You know, those ones that check for 2 or more lands, like Desert of Each. Hallowed Fountain's in here. Hollow of Heliod's Generosity. Maze of Ith is in here. Reliquary Tower is in here. And I am going to try these little dudes, these little budget cards from the Avatar set, like Thriving Heath and Thriving Island. So... yeah. Well, they're ones like it from the Avatar set, but these are the ones where you select another color. And yeah. But let me know what you think in the comments down below. I like Miss Bumbleflower. She's adorable. And then she beats your face in, or if you go that route, or this route where you get to sit there and watch her just be so nice and give you little cupcakes, but then you eventually lose. But, as always, I'm Monster with the Hidden Gibbon, and I hope you all have a wonderful day.